Frankenfoot here with another ring base that I think I accidentally started the replay on before it was time. Whatever. Okay, you see wizards cleaning up out here. Let's watch the rest. Queen's coming down, healer's behind her. We're starting a bit of a walk. She's going to clear a large chunk of these buildings, and eventually she's going to commit to walking either to the left or to the right. Well, I guess for her that would be... It's her left, her right. Okay, whatever. Doesn't really matter. She's going to go one way or the other, and when she decides to go one way or the other, then it's time to drop in the boatload of Pekkas and Bowlers and a king that I have to help start her wrecking buildings. And you see in the army composition, I've got some wizards and I've got some baby dragons. These ring bases are not overly complicated to take out, I have found. This one doesn't even have infernos, which is why I'm able to attack it and get 3 stars. The trouble is you just tend to run out of time. That's what I found with these attacks, with these Pekkas attacks. Time is of the essence. So that's why I have these baby dragons and these wizards to help sort of clean things up. And I've got them as backup. Baby dragons I like because I can get them to fly into the core depending on where traps and other stuff start to appear before my very eyes. We can get that done. And you see I'm raging them ahead of these air defenses just to keep them up. And I could have brought 4 rages and a jump, but I decided to bring a heal just in case those bowlers hit a bomb or something and the healers weren't around. Because you never know where those darn pesky little air mines like you just saw are, or the seeking air mines are that can take out your healers. Anyway, but they make it around the base. They're doing okay. It's time, chewing up a lot of time. You can see the queen never got that building, which is why you save some wizards and baby dragons for cleanup. The bowlers, unfortunately, have about petered out here. I'm going to go ahead and drop that heal just to make sure things are going to survive long enough to get to the core. And, of course, the one thing that really needed it, the bowler didn't even go into it. But I still got some baby dragons in the tank. I dropped 1 here earlier to start cleaning up those buildings. But he ran into the air defense and pretty much just killed himself because that's what he does. Queen made it for a long time but didn't quite make it to the end here. And the rest of the kill squad finally moves into the core, taking out those buildings in there. And I save a baby dragon and drop them over here. And I got 1 left, but I just don't even know what to do with it. So there you go. So let's break this thing down. So more or less a max-ish Town Hall 9. Well, I guess mid-level heroes, but max defenses, walls aren't quite maxed. When I see ring bases, I start thinking Pekkas. I actually recorded a video a long time ago, back when my king was only like level 20 or something crazy like that, on how to attack ring bases. I'm using almost exactly the same army composition, modifying a little bit. Of course, I'm a 10, so I got some extra junk, so I was bold enough to bring a jump spell, even though I think the only thing that the queen can't reach here is the town hall, builder hall. Look at that, my brain's getting all twisted. Alrighty then. So, if you drop the queen here, she can take out both layers of these buildings. If you drop her anywhere else, she cannot take out all the layers of the buildings because they're back too far. So this is my decision. This is what I was going to do. I've got these buildings over here. I can start cleaning these up with a wizard or 2. I can take 1 or 2 of these out. I'm just going to drop the queen in the middle. And she's going to start to clear all these things out. She's going to have a cannon on her, an air defense, and possibly another air defense eventually. So you are probably going to have to burn a rage at some point in time here. That's regretful, but, necessary. But eventually she's going to clear all these buildings out. Once all these buildings are gone, she's going to commit herself to either walking to this direction or this direction to go for the next building. And there will be a massive gap. And she will surprise you. The queen, I've done all sorts of queen walks. She will surprise you more often than you would ever expect. With as many queen walks as I've done and as many counterintuitive rules and things I've developed in my head, she still surprises me. So I'm going to say I don't really care which way she walks. It's a symmetrical base. It's even on every side, but she's going to walk in one direction or the other. And as she does that, I will drop in the king and the Pekkas behind her, a couple wall breakers to get them in, and then the bowlers. And then everything's going to just start moving around the base, wrecking things. And that's exactly what you want. Now, look at these expos. If you count the rows, here's the wall, 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, expo. Hey, that rhymed. Why do I tickle myself so much? The queen can reach this. The queen can reach this. The queen can reach this. If he had pushed these back one more, the queen would not have been able to reach any of those. Bowlers might have been able to hit him on a skip, but the bowlers probably aren't going to have anything to influence them to throw rocks and to skip in that direction. So, again, if he had just pushed things back one more tile, one more level of gap here, the king could have reached it. Of course, the problem with that is then I believe at that point you can start dropping troops there. I'd have to double check my building checker do, but that's why he didn't do that. So anyway, he still could have maybe made it bigger in one direction and just pulled things back, but what do I know? So yeah, these ring bases, they're good anti-2-star bases, I guess, but if you know what you're doing, they're very easy to 3-star. I didn't have to put a whole lot of thought into this. I didn't have to put a whole lot of stress. Of course, I am a 10, taking a 9. But the other thing you got to realize is my typical Gobo Laloon strategy that I like to crank out is if there's a base that it doesn't work for, it's probably these ring bases. The problem is when you have such freedom of direction, you can't really control where your troops are going to go. You drop in two golems, wizards, Pekkas. Unless you do a really good job funneling on one side or the other, they're just going to go schizo on you, and some will go left and some will go right, and it'll peter out really, really poorly. So my Gobo Laloon does not work on these bases as well as you would hope it would. Oh, mosquito. Go away, mosquito. So that's why I'm doing this. And like I said, it's simple. Just drop it in, let the queen start tearing stuff over here when she commits to a direction, and be patient because she'll go back and forth because she can't commit. She has commitment issues. Let's be honest, everyone. The queen has commitment issues. And once she for sure is going in a direction, dropping a bunch of Pekkas and a king, and just let them start wrecking stuff. And at the end of this, I think I had tons of Pekkas left over. The only thing you were fighting at that point is the clock, and that's where the baby dragons are really nice because they can fly over stuff, and when they're raged, they have a nice hit damage per second. But so that's it. I've got a couple rages. I'm going to drop one on the queen here. I'm going to drop them close to these air defenses to A, get things healed up quickly, and B, to allow bowlers or something or whatever to take out those air defenses more quickly rather than more slowly. And that's it. I've got a heal in case I need it. I kind of didn't really need it, but I dropped it anyway because I'm just, I'm going to get the 3-star dadgummit. And I got a jump spell to help the remaining Pekkas to get into the core. Because I'm a Town Hall 10, I've got extra spells now. And that's, it's a good enough place to use it. So, that being said, let's watch it again. So you can see this wizard can take out all these buildings without the influence of that, but I really just wanted these gone because I didn't want my Pekkas and golems to go the wrong direction. This wizard was also in the same boat. He can take those things out. So here comes the queen. She's doing the dirty. I'm being patient, hoping I maybe not have to use that rage, but I'm not hopeful. As soon as her health gets yellow, it's going down. Because I've had too many queen walks. The queen dies prematurely. It's a bad day, and there's new and inventive cuss words. So you might think, okay, looky here, cannon's going down. She's going to start walking in this direction, but watch her closely. She says, "Nay, nay, good sir." Oh wait, no. Oh yeah, she even added to it. Okay, so I'm going to take out that frickin' elixir storage thingy, and even though this archer tile's right next to it, I think it's closer to go take out this gold storage next. And now she's definitely committed to moving on this side. Soon as this fell, look at where she's standing. Look at all that gap. For sure she's going in this direction. So as soon as she targeted that mortar, I knew it was time to drop the rest of the stuff. It probably didn't even need the wall breakers because one more whack and they would have got through that. But whatever. Oh look at them go! They didn't even... One wall breaker. Oh, one wall breaker had a chance to blow up. The rest of them just kept going. Oh, I didn't talk about Clan Castle. Clan Castle. They will eventually pick it up. I think the wall breakers triggered it of all crazy things. That was not the plan. That was a little bit risky because if they didn't get all the Clan Castle troops, I would have wasted some poisons. Main thing I'm concerned about is that dragon. As long as the queen is up, she will take care of stuff. If that queen was down, I would have been in some deep doo-doo. But the queen was up, and we've got 2 poison spells working on stuff. And the queen, you see her just taking that dragon down. Those balloons will eventually fall. They do wander out of that poison spell, though. Maybe it wasn't the best drop poison spell in the history of the world. Anyway, but things are trucking along. That Expo's causing some trouble. I knew it would. That cannon's causing some trouble, too. I actually wanted to come in on one of these corners here, but I decided against that because the queen... It gets dicey if the queen leaves buildings out of her reach. Eventually, she's going to start firing over a wall to get into there, and that's not something I wanted to do. I was a little slow. I should have went ahead and dropped some wizards or some baby dragons here, because you see this bowler's getting hung up on some of the buildings on the outside of that. So I was a little slow on that, and I learned from my mistake, and I dropped the next wizard ahead of time pretty quickly. So you see the queen, she took out that expo. She's taking out the town hall now because she's being a nice queen instead of the crazy psycho left or right queen, who knows. And I've got 1, 2, I have all my Pekkas left up, and they're just about at full health. So they've definitely got this base cleared, especially with that jump spell to get them into the core. It's just fighting the clock at this point. So I went ahead and dropped a baby dragon up there. Knew he was going to die if they didn't get to that air defense, which I didn't think they would. Once that's gone, defenses are pretty much wrecked at this point. Go ahead and drop the king ability just to get some barbarians out there to help start working through things. Drop a baby dragon to help get into the core, but he picks up a seeking air mine. But at this point, the core's wrecked. They're in there. Baby dragon down over here to clean up that guy, and that's the end of the game. So, ring base is very intimidating, but an easy 3-star if you plan it well, and you just you work with your troops instead of fighting against them. Again, my normal army, my go-to Gobo Laloon doesn't work very well, though. So that's why I had to do this. But anyway, 12 minutes and 30 seconds later, Frankenfoot has stopped talking.